All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Pasture Podcast. I believe this is going to be episode 3 if things are edited and go up correctly.
If things are edited, do we edit these? Do you edit these?
I might edit a little one. I know the last one is definitely going to be edited a little bit.
Got fucked up, yeah.
Wait. Are we gonna have the haunted be 2.5?
Yeah, that'll be kind of an extra. Yeah, you'll see what that is. So this episode is going to be about something we've kind of been talking about today, which is, I don't want to say nudity. I guess
that's literally what it is. Yeah,
no, I'll say body image in America and body standards in America.
Okay. Well,
yeah, we gotta get the titty out.
Well, that's
first we should classify state that Cole is here, Levi is here, and Haley is here. Those are people who are doing this episode.
Yeah. Anyone care to start? Who has a big thing to say?
Well, earlier we were talking about, kind of about body image, but it turned into, about how, nudity is over-sexualized, especially for women. And you're talking about the desexualization of nudity, especially, like, in America, because...
In more Western culture.
Yeah, in Western culture, especially, but... Well, I mean, like, even in Europe, I don't know if this is for the rest of Europe, but I know that, my German teacher said that, movies were rated R, or whatever their equivalent is, for, like, one person getting shot or something, but you could have, full frontal nudity just about in a, like, PG, or whatever their equivalent is, movie, whereas it's fully the other way around here in America. So.
Yeah. It's kind of an odd thing that, especially recently, I've come to notice. Our culture would be more okay with watching someone straight up get, like, stabbed. Like, full on, you're not hiding it, you're not panning the camera away. Watching someone get stabbed than, like, seeing a woman's breast on, like, live TV.
Yeah.
That would, like, one of these is greatly not like the other, and it's not the way you would think it would be.
Even this brings in, I can remember being, 8 years old and in a Borders bookstore. Oh boy, back when those were around. And I really wanted this book, and it was about this, like, spy girl going to spy high school and doing spy high school things for some reason. And my stepmother and my father wouldn't get it for me because she had a boyfriend, and they fully wanted me to read just, like, total gore. They had no issues if a million people got slaughtered in a book. But if there was even a pair of lips that were not cut off and could possibly kiss, they would not allow me to read it.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything. This is the way I'll say it. Love and lust are in American culture, at least in our experience, we can't stand for everyone, but are synonyms and are used as synonyms.
They're marketed as them.
Yeah.
And I think when we do separate love and lust, it's like it's not like two ends of a spectrum. It's like one is evil and one is good and pure. And if you're going to have love, obviously you'll have sex, but it's like, or you could have sex, but there's no element of lust in there. And I think that that's really stupid, that we should not have to make them two separate things, because I don't know where I'm going with this. Someone else wants to go.
Well, I fully recognize that they're separate concepts, because not everything has to be sexual. You can casually touch someone. But,
we're laughing because so we've been hanging out for quite a few hours now.
Yeah,
I've dyed my hair since the last podcast. We ran the streets.
Yeah, we chilled on Levi's roof for a while.
I dissociated into a world of chimney men.
Anyway,
so many things.
Anyway, we were talking about how you should, like, desexualize, like, any sort of touch. Not necessarily like, oh, hey, let's whack and smack it together. But, like, hey, I should be able to, like, put my arm on your shoulder or something.
Why don't we whack and smack them together?
Because I don't want to whack it and smack it with either of you guys. I'm putting this on the record to be a little offended.
So, basically, what we were kind of going through is, like, there were many pictures taken today. This sounds horrible.
Okay, you know what? We say the wrong thing, we might have to re-record this.
Yeah,
so your words.
Child pornography. Yeah. None of us are nude.
But, like, it's like, we're like, oh, it's totally okay for Levi to be walking around and be, like, in a tank top, and we can be, like, laying on each other, and that's so not in any way sexual. Or, like, I could be laying in Haley's lap, and that is so not in any way sexual or even romantic.
but it could be perceived as that. Like we had pictures of us just like all chilling out on my bed because there's no furniture in my room, and so it's like someone looks at it and they're like, oh, you're having an orgy on here,
and
right?
The only time we ever see teenagers like lying together in groups is typically in like ads, and I read a lot of fashion magazines because I have no life, and they're all these sexed up models lying on top of each other seductively. And
yeah.
I as someone who's been in the arts for a long time can recognize they're models. This is their job. They probably all don't like boink each other.
Doink.
but when you see that when you're like 10, 11, 12, 13 reading these magazines, it's almost like, oh, well, I'm expected to grow up but stay pure and get married and fall in love, but also
this is what
lie
is expected
sexually on a couch covered in perfume.
And it's touching other people has almost become
taboo.
You are either, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because it is either aggressive or it is romantic / sexual. And that's kind of, that's basically what we've been talking about throughout the day, is like, that's messed up, kind of. Like,
yeah. Especially, this is based off a Tumblr post I've seen, but desexualizing like guys touching each other, because like a lot there'll be times like I'll even go to hug someone or something, and someone's like, oh, that's gay. Like, I'm literally just hugging a friend.
yeah.
Can I not do this, please?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just really stupid because I've never seen stuff that way. I've seen, I used to really be into like shaming people for having any sort of, relationship, anything that could be perceived as sex, even if it was explicitly sexual or not. And I've totally switched my mindset, but it's hard to see that other people don't see things the same way I do. So
yeah, and I just think something else we talked about. I'm kind of gonna switch gears a little bit.
Yeah,
we were talking about specifically women in main media, and this is gonna sound really weird. Like, the topic of conversation was like Haley, and she's wearing like a shirt where you can see she has boobs, and it's like,
oh
okay.
my god, what are those?
Yeah, what is this?
I lovingly refer to this shirt as the sack. It is lavender and cashmere, and it's the tightest at my elbows, and it hits the breast area, and then it just flows off into about a yard of fabric.
And so, like, it's in that shirt, it's very easy for it to flip up. And oh my god.
Yeah, you do a fold.
The tatas are there, and no one panics. It doesn't matter. It because to
for those
us,
listening,
yeah,
the tatas were just out.
Yeah, for us, it like doesn't matter because that's not a thing. Like, no one here is sexually or romantically interested in Haley.
And that's normal.
Yeah,
and it's like, especially this. Just to put it in perspective for someone who might be thinking like, oh man, any sort of, you should have your shoulders, holy shit. If Haley were in a bathing suit right now, be totally fine. Not sexual at all. She's just going for a I can understand why people obviously wouldn't want you, would be okay with you seeing them in their swimsuit but not their underwear.
That's a consent thing.
That's a consent thing, yes. And also, but I mean, I don't know, for us, none of us care.
Another thing is, we're all theater dorks. So we've been in change rooms.
I feel like,
we're totally used to changing. I've done medieval reenacting since I was like birthed. So I'm just used to being in and out of costume around people. I'm used to changing around people. And that might be, and I've known these guys for a really long time, so that might be another part of it. But I am not a shy person when it comes to my physical being.
Yeah. And I am... For those of you who may not know me personally, I am a bit of a larger person. I have stretch marks all over my stomach, but like still like around some people, I'm totally like would rather not. But like around these guys, like I really don't care.
I saw the nipples today. The nipples were out.
Yeah, things happen. I think
the sky's out, nips out.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't like
sky's out, guys out.
Yeah, things just. And I think a theater thing is totally that. And for me, in my family, we've always been very open. Like, and this was just kind of, I think this is something my parents, obviously, they might have talked about it and said, when we have children, are we going to, like, how comfortable are we going to be with them? I will just walk to the shower, completely nude, I don't really care. That's just a thing that happens. And I'm totally okay with that. And the rest of the family is just like, yes, okay.
Well, see, that's kind of weird for me.
See? And that's that's how you were raised.
See, that's totally... At my mom's apartment. My mom's apartment is a lot different than my father's house. My mom's apartment, she had a roommate. It was my sister and my sister's best friend. And we're all girls. And so we commonly throw around, we're all girls here. And you could just walk butt-ass naked or in your underwear or whatever. Or a lot of times when Veronica would have her boyfriend over, she would text me, go put on pants. And you gotta go put on pants. And she would have to bribe me with some form of payment to actually put pants on.
Generally, isn't that a McChicken?
Yeah, it started as a joke, and it ended up every time he came over, he would bring me at least a McChicken, and then sometimes she would show up with a McChicken. It was great. I always had, like, lunch for the next day.
You could have made pants out of those McChicken wrappers.
Yeah.
McChicken pants. Oh, boy.
I'm getting you those
McPants.
Last week, when I was super sick, she got a text saying, this McSicken demands a McChicken.
Beautiful.
And that won me a McChicken. But back to the topic, it's... My mom, I watched my mom get dressed today. That sounds weird, but we're having a conversation about, well, we're going to go to JCPenney. You're not sponsored.
Like...
What do we want to get today? And my mom's like, oh, I'm an old woman and I'm naked. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I came out of you. I'm your womb fruit. And the fruit of the womb. And I know I'm rambling now, but at my dad's, it was always like, I cannot see your shoulders. There is absolutely, the only cleave is the cleaver, which I will use if you show any thigh. And
what was the thing about the sports bra? Because I wrote a note to Haley at the end of the school year, like, hey, this summer I'm gonna break you and your sports bra out of the house. I don't remember what the sports bra was.
If you could see my sports bra strap, my stepmother deemed that as inappropriate.
And it's stuff like that. It's raising, and I think here's a good example. Say that happened, and Haley had a brother, and the brother hears these conversations and overhears all of this stuff. Now, in that child's mind, that's a bad thing.
It's scandalous.
Seeing any skin exposed to him is now a bad thing,
especially
because that's what his parents said. And, like, this is a hypothetical example, but, like, and that is how our society has came to be what it is, where we would be more okay with seeing a man get stabbed on, like, live television than seeing a woman take off her shirt. And we would be more willing to rate a movie R because of nudity versus because of violence. Even non-sexual nudity, which I think is the big thing, and that's really the point of this episode, is the fact that you are now reducing, and of course this happens for both genders, but I'll say it's way more for women in the main media. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
And you are reducing them to sex. That's it. If you consider nudity at all to be sexual, you are reducing the woman from a person to a sexual object. And it's plain and simple.
What I think is really interesting is because, obviously, you know, men and women can be overly sexualized, but when it's men, what I've seen a lot is, like, if they're, like, in a nice tight-fitting suit or something, it's, like, a bunch of women will, like, have a bunch of comments on this photo or whatever that are, like, extremely sexual, like, he's fully clothed. And you can obviously have a fully clothed woman be sexualized, but I feel like it's really weird because, you know, guys can casually be in, you know, little to nothing. It can be not sexualized or sexualized, but a woman doing anything is more likely to be sexualized.
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma. Like, and someone did this at my school. You can walk around in boxers.
Yeah.
They are basically shorts. But if a girl were to walk around in the same thing, in boxers, it wouldn't be okay. It would be sexualized instantly. You could literally wear the exact same pair, and it would be sexualized.
And I think where I was going with my whole suit point, because I couldn't think of the phrase I was trying to think of, is that someone has to outright try and make it sexual when a guy is doing anything. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what he's wearing. It just matters if someone wants to see it in a sexual light.
I disagree. I don't think that if you took a photo of me in the sack, that it would ultimately be sexual.
Someone's gonna have a sack kink out there. Well, no, I mean,
however, I don't think that you have to purposefully try just to make a man's photo sexual. I feel like you can make a woman's photo not sexual.
Yeah.
However, it sells much better,
Yeah.
and we've been trained to always think of the woman sexually. And so while all the women try to chase this sort of weird sexual need to, like, our weird beauty standard.
Yeah.
I think
that beauty standard is so much. It's more promoted as the main beauty standard as any standard is for guys. I don't look into a lot of men's fashion, but I know that there are several different types of male models. You have the super buff dudes, you have the super lean dudes. Whereas with women, it's just kind of the hourglass figure with crazy measurements.
Yeah. And I think what I meant when I said, like, a men in a suit or something is, in an advertisement, and not necessarily for, like, high fashion things. They're always going to try and make it look sexy so that you really, really want it no matter the price. I'm talking, like, you can go to, like, a Kmart or something and see the people who are on the walls for, like, the models on the walls or whatever, and the women are more likely to be sexualized. And I'm talking about this the suit example that I gave was literally, like, in a Kmart, so I was like, oh damn, he looks nice. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going with this now. I'm sorry, my mind has been all over the place today. This is probably not the best time for me to be recording with you guys, but this is...
It's okay, Levi.
Yeah, it's okay.
Support you.
But, like, it's just kind of... It's messed up how our world is. That, like, honestly, I could probably... I'm going to be kind of referencing our specific theater environment here. For a scene, I could probably get away with just wearing boxers. Like, that's it.
Didn't someone already do this?
Yeah, Brendan Smith.
Yeah, Brendan did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Brendan literally got out there half naked.
Men and women's underwear.
Well,
I think immediately we would just be like, if a girl was like, I'm just going to go up there with a bra and underwear on, people would be like, no, you're not. Yeah, that's not okay.
I remember earlier in the, not this year, freshman year, I think, maybe. Anyway, a friend of mine did a scene where basically, like, her bra had to be on stage, and, like, the teacher was like, I don't know if I can do this. This might be a little inappropriate. Just her bra. She wasn't in her bra. She wasn't, taking her bra off. It was just on the stage. But
was this? Yeah, I remember the scene.
I don't know if she wants her name out there, but it was with Smith.
Yeah, I totally know what scene you're talking about.
It was with Brendan. So.
Yeah. And
I think even the fact that we won't mention the name of the girl, but we're mentioning Brendan's name.
Well, Brendan's already... We already know that Brendan's been half naked on stage. I'm sorry.
But I think even the fact that we have no issue saying, oh yeah, Brendan Smith was in a bra.
Yeah.
But even though the girl wasn't in a bra, the fact that she appeared on the stage with a bra is such... It's a double standard in itself, where you'll tell your daughters, you gotta be safe, you can't show that much skin, you can't wear that, I was walking to school one day in, like, a tank top and these really cute elephant shorts, which is basically what everyone in our location, our area, wears during the summer. Yeah. And my parents actually screamed at me out of the house. Thankfully, I don't live there anymore. It was a really bad environment. But, they screamed at me, calling me various slurs. Like, they would call me a slut and a whore, and I looked like a prostitute. And I'm wearing what all the girls at school are wearing, and they called me back in. And it's a little ridiculous. And you tell your girls that you can't do this, and then you tell your sons, go out and play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to clarify that I didn't want to say Brendan's name either, but I just kind of, I just didn't want to name names in general, because I know that they will probably be on the podcast. I just don't know to what extent.
If they'll be comfortable with that.
Yeah. It wasn't the subject of it. It was just the fact that I was naming names. I didn't want to do that. But I do see where you're going. A lot of people would have that mindset.
Yeah. All right.
I think we should wrap this up then.
Yeah,
so.
That's pretty much it. And we might come back to this topic, because I think this is something that all three of us and more people would be really nice to expand on. Like,
I think this podcast itself was just kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I also agree with that. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. So we will see you all. Yeah, thanks for listening.
See you guys later. Leave a comment on with your opinion.
Yeah, tell us what you guys think about this whole mess.
Give us suggestions.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Give us suggestions about what you guys would want us to talk about.
We will talk about anything. Please, we are desperate.
If you want to listen to specific people or
Yeah.
meet certain people, drop us something in the comments.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Godspeed.